All right, so let's get to the lesson of the day. So this, as you can see, is continuation of Unit 3, which is smoothing of business cycles. So, but in this lesson, we're moving on to something which was an essay, possible essay type question, which is the new economic paradigm. And this has been an essay since 2017. At this point in time when I'm making this video, we haven't received the new examination guidelines, so we might still be using the same. So I don't know. Right, so the new economic paradigm, let's have a look. In this, which we otherwise call a way of thinking, government tries to focus less on fine-tuning and more on eliminating any uncertainties with regards to the fiscal and the monetary policy. And government does that by looking at demand and supply side. So let's have a look at demand side policy. Precisely, a demand side policy, it is a policy that stimulates aggregate demand. So in other words, if we have two main participants, we have consumers, okay, but let me call them households. So we have us households, and we also have another participant, which is businesses or firms. All right, so we are the main consumers of goods and services. So we are the main people who demand. Of course, we are not the only ones, Government does demand goods and services as well, and so on. So, and even firms themselves, they buy things from other firms. So they also stimulate aggregate demand. But the main consumers of goods and services is us. Then on the other hand, you would find households like people, individuals, not doing it as a business, producing something. It doesn't make us the primary producers. The primary producers are the businesses. So these ones are the ones that are responsible for supply. So any demand side policy is sort of mainly looking at households. So this policy is trying to say, what is it that we can do that can stimulate aggregate demand? What we mean by stimulation of aggregate demand is this: simply shifting the demand curve to the right. So this is what we mean. Then on the other hand, we have the supply curve. Like I said, who is responsible for the supply curve? That will be the businesses. And you look at this one, the demand curve, as we go from here to here, what is it? It's downward sloping. The supply curve, look at it, it's upward sloping. So an increase in supply is merely a shift of the supply curve to the right. So we have S1. So in both cases, any policy a policy that stimulates aggregate demand is a demand side policy. As a policy that makes businesses manufacture more, it's a supply side policy. So government is trying to eliminate uncertainties with regards to the fiscal and the monetary policy. So they do this by looking at demand and supply side policies. So let's have a look at how they actually do it. So this needs to be done during a recession, for instance, or during a period of below the trend growth. Even let's say, okay, where is my mouse? Okay, look, this is our cycle, right? And then we have a trend line. So government can do it at any point below this trend line. That's what we mean by that. All right, so if there is a spare capacity, then demand side policies can play a role in increasing the rate of economic growth. However, if the economy is already close to full capacity, that is a trend rate of growth, a further increase in aggregate demand will mainly cause inflation, which is a big problem. These monetary and fiscal policies are implemented with the aim of increasing aggregate demand, like I said, on the output produced by domestic firms in order to stimulate economic growth. Right, so basically this is how it's done. So government, look, the thing is government wants to increase this, right? Government wants to achieve real growth in GDP. So here we have aggregate income here. Why? So how do we have aggregate income? Anyway, we know that income is equal to production, it's equal to expenditure. So when we do anything that increases aggregate income, in other words, we're increasing production, we are increasing expenditure. So it doesn't matter which method of you calculating GDP we use. Here we see that what we are saying here is an increase in aggregate income means an increase in real GDP. So any demand side policy will result in aggregate demand shifting from AD to AD1. The AD stands for aggregate